Okay, we're going to try something here using the Koala holographic printable vinyl sticker paper, Starry. Okay, I've seen these papers before in foils. I haven't used the vinyls, okay, except for one glow-in-the-dark piece in my life. All right, so I don't know how the different inks will react to this type of surface, based on that one experience. But I don't know, why not use this? Let's give it a shot here. All right, now I'm just going to be kind of playing around here. This is not instructional, but explorational, as a lot of my videos are. You're just seeing me kind of playing around in my lab, art studio. I do think it's a good kind of, maybe a mindset to think of your, your working area when it comes to creative endeavors as kind of more your lab type of thing. I think that opens us up to a lot of different exploration, and I don't know, it gets people off the hook kind of from thinking of I don't know, their working areas, somewhere, where you're to create a masterpiece and you're being kind of, I don't know, critiqued and whatnot. You want to leave yourself kind of wide open for exploration so that you're wide open to discovery and learning without some kind of, eyes fixated on you in terms of, I don't know, making something in error or something of that nature, okay? People can really be their worst enemy when it comes to that. And I get where that comes from. It's kind of within us all. And if you have that, then, it's kind of changing that type of mindset. But that leaves us open to all kinds of exploration and ideas that we might not have thought about before. This type of surface right here, just kind of moving it around like that. I mean, that is a really, really dynamic surface, and I never would have thought about doing that before, but I've just been doing a lot more exploration these days with, I don't know if it's as dynamic a surfaces as I can possibly get, but a little bit that way, okay? Okay, so what I'm doing right here is I'm using some Brilliance ink. Brilliance ink is a water-based, fast-drying pigment ink, okay? And this is a really great ink to use. You might see it as like a stays-on type of ink for pigment inks, okay? It doesn't stick to everything, but it'll dry on anything, all right? And that's really important. Now, this type of vinyl paper is designed to be run in a, I think it's with dye inks, I think. I think it's like a ink, I don't know, maybe this one's that says, okay, you want dye-based inks, okay? With this. I want to say some of these, it says inkjet or something like that. And I don't know if inkjet printers are dye-based or not. But I'm not using it to print on, you're watching the stamping channel. We're stampers, we're card makers. So I don't know, I guess you could try it in your printers and do those types of applications. A lot more people are, getting much more kind of into things like the Cricut and utilizing kind of machinery and things like that to create or to embellish their cards. And you can certainly do something like that, okay? But as far as using it kind of in a traditional way with stamping, with kind of hand tools and sponging types of things, those typical types of methods that we use in stamping, I don't know. It can be, potentially a really great surface for that if it works out well, because it opens us up to different types of looks rather than just going with, white papers all the time. White papers are going to be the most universal and malleable in terms of what you can do on them, but you're never going to get that type of look. Not that we want that type of look on everything, but I don't know, it could be cool to kind of, I don't know, achieve those types of things. Okay, so let's try something with the STARRY. I did some what I call blocking out, and I'm going to use these clouds in here. Oftentimes with surfaces that are so dynamic like this, okay, I want to block off some of that. Yeah, I'm talking about scenic stamping now too. I'm not just talking about stamping in general, where maybe we want a big kind of explosive type of surface that goes like this, okay? For me in scenic stamping, I want kind of the benefits of some of that, but I don't want the dominance of it, okay? I like it a little bit more integrated, whatever that means, in the scenes, you know? And what I mean by, I don't know what that means. When we're starting with something so explosive like that, you know, chances are you probably want that type of look. But I don't know. I want to see what it looks like in context for what I'm doing. And that's in this kind of space type of format. Okay, so immediately right there, look how great that looks though, you know, in terms of some white clouds like that. But what I did was I inked this up, and where this is going to go up there, I don't want this big line here, so I'm eradicating that line by removing it like that. If there's something you don't want in a stamp, in scenic stamping or Stampscapes in particular, I design my stamps to be used in its entirety, but also partially for what we're going after, okay? So on this one right here, if I don't have other clouds up there, I'm ending it right there by wiping it off like that so that that part does not stamp out. If you want to do a very large tree, you can stamp a large tree in there. If you want a smaller tree, then you just use the tip. You know, that type of thing. We're doing selective kind of impressions utilizing whatever part of the design we want. Okay, so that stays on, and that is dry right there, okay? You know, it's not all goopy on my hands right there. It dries fairly quickly. You know, that's what stays on is like using, it's like using like a Sharpie pen or something like that, but in pad form. All right, so that looks, God, that looks pretty interesting, doesn't it? What I was going to do, I was really tempted to, and I'll still do it here, but I'm going to put one of my sky figures right over the top of it, okay? Like Starbirth or something like that, but I'm really kind of feeling like just doing a card just with some clouds and some trees around the perimeter. Let's do both in this video. I don't think this is going to take too long to do, but let's just take a look and see what one of these more dominant solid types of images will look like with that shiny, glittery, you know, starry holographic look in the background, okay? All right, so this is Starbirth right here. There's, you can use any one of these. This one's Spiral Galaxy. We have Milky Way and the nebula with star right there, okay? And what this is going to represent is just some clouds up here, and you're going up there into the sky. I don't know, I might bring some clouds around it in there too, so yeah, we'll figure it out here as we go, okay? All right, inking up with the stays on, blotting off the perimeter like this, which I often do when I'm using really dark colors with my sky figures that happen to be rectangles, okay? I'm just stamping this out. You don't really need to mask off the clouds because we've wiped off the perimeter of this stamp so that it won't stamp out too dark on that edge, okay? So like that. You can't really see it too much. It is really invisible. Like that in there, okay? So that's that. We tested it out, okay? I think those stars in there are probably going to be a little bit more effective just as is. Or we would have to do more whiteout for this to show. So that surprises me. I could go in here with some additional tones, though, with black, and to define some of those things. But I don't know. That is interesting. Okay, so let's just go on And let's do a little bit more blocking out then, okay? You can see that Starbirth little star there kind of showing now that I've kind of blocked it out, but that it's just too loud of a surface. All right, so let's go in here and let's do the other thing that I was talking about. All right. And that's put a perimeter around it like so. All right. I'm finding this this Brilliance White pigment ink is sticking and drying on the surface just fine. That is not coming off at all, okay? So whatever the surface is on these types of vinyl, printable, I don't know, you don't call them paper, right? Surfaces, it's the same thing that's allowing this to really grab that surface and dry very quickly, okay? I find that pretty fascinating, and also the fact that dye-based inks will dry on this. I mean, that's what they keep pointing out over and over again. The packaging on these papers are really, they want people to have success. Of course, you know, all manufacturers do for their products, but they're really kind of specifying, hey, don't use it with, you know, this type of ink or this type of printer, you know, do it this way, you know, and that's what it's designed for. It's not going to work with, you know, I don't know, other kind of specific things in there. All right, so watch out for stays on. It's dries and it's grabbing onto that really fast. If you notice when I'm pulling this off, it's really kind of pulling at the vinyl, but this vinyl it's vinyl, so it's not like putting creases in it. It just kind of peels right off here. Let me kind of do a little bit of a quicker impression. Don't hold it down as long because it's adhering and almost like a glue. Okay. Every time you re-ink this, just kind of wipe off, and I'm wiping off the side of the stamp that is facing the light. If you're curious about this cloud stamp, look up Stampscapes Cloud Cumulus or 018E as an Edward, and I have whole videos, many, on just how to use this stamp and what not to do with it, okay? You don't want it to look like a bunch of squares, and I'll show you exactly what people do that don't know about the tricks with this, okay? And one of them is just kind of wiping it off, all right? Before you stamp it out, don't rock it or things like that when you're doing it, so that it gives a nice, even impression, okay? All right, so see that right there? Look at that. God, that's like a, I don't know what that looks like to me. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy. It's like a laser light show or something like that. Okay, so that is that. Let's get some additional imagery to put on here. And let's see, let me go with my go-to image, which is the, well, we'll use a couple of them. I'm looking for my spruce tree image. But we'll also go with some leafless pines as well, in kind of a lay on your back and look up the sky type of idea here. All right, there's the leafless pine. Oh. Okay, good. I found my image. I've been doing so much stamping, I have just so many stamps kind of sitting around that I need to reorganize. I've done some projects using a huge number of stamps of late. I was making a joke on Facebook that I think I broke the Guinness Book of World Records for most stamps used on a single scene. Okay. A fairly large stamp here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim this stamp at the same vanishing point with each impression that I do, okay? This one's easy. I can just choose like one star or something like that. Let's go with, let me see, I don't know if you can even see that star. It's like that one. I'm pointing at a million of them, but I don't. I'll just go right there. Okay, so aim this at that. Okay, make your impression. It's that one right there. Okay, go like that. So this is like you're kind of lying at your back and looking at the star type of thing. Okay. And let's go right here. If you're a little off, you know, that's okay, but don't be like way off or something like that. It'll look kind of funny in terms of kind of the visual perspective going up there. But look at that, isn't that fun? And I don't know, it's taken the ink just beautifully. I don't know, have no kind of issues when it comes to that. So, all right, let's see. Let's get a large block here. I won't be stamping the whole thing, so I don't need this to go on, you know, the entire block, but go like that. All right. Ink up. Do the same thing with the same vanishing point, okay? If I can find it. All right, I think it was right there. All right, now let's see here. I'm kind of aiming this leafless pine in that direction, like so. Okay. And right there, I'll go a little bit lower. See, I'm kind of changing heights, you know, just to, and you can overlap your imagery as well. You have these leafless pines in there, and it kind of gives the entire piece, I think, a little bit more realism. You see, you know, dead trees amongst the living, like that. And plus it gives it a kind of a different textural form in there, like about like so. Okay, so we're looking at that. I think that makes for a pretty fun card. I'm trying to think of if I want to go in here and just kind of subdue some of it a little bit. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking for, yes, here. This is my Brilliance black ink pad. You can probably use a dye on here. I mean, it's supposed to take dyes and things like that, but I'm going to go with the Brilliance here. Like, you know, but I don't know, try your dyes. I think STAZN might dry a little bit too fast for this, so, you know, in terms of blending, but I'm going to try to kind of mute some of that tone in there, just so it's not quite so crazy, okay? I want that characteristic of it, okay, but I just want to mute it a little bit. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just making my applicator. This is what's kind of hard for people too, because we're not used to making our own applicators. You know, we're used to using a marker or a colored pencil or something like that that inherently has a uniform kind of application of media. But this is where we're getting, you know, this is, you know, pretty dark black right there, but then I'm making a lighter gray out of it like that, okay? By just wiping some of it off like that, okay? And for me, what I do is I just kind of go in and I add kind of a lighter amount of it at first. And again, I'm just kind of going for a little bit of a, a muting kind of effect. So you see, I'm kind of blotting some of that on there, like about like so. I don't know, it might look better, you know, to not do that. I don't know. We'll see here. This is all about kind of exploration and, I don't know, kind of discovery or whatnot. It could be discovery on what not to do too, you know. All right, so going in like that. For me, it was, there's a pattern to these stars, okay? And if the pattern was a little bit larger, I'd like it a little bit more, but it was a little bit too contained. You know, the pattern started like here, and then it repeated right here. If it was repeating like over here, where it wasn't so symmetrical, I'd like it a little bit more. So that's why I'm kind of muting it like this a little bit. See, this kind of mutes that off a little bit. So see, it's already kind of looking a little bit more Um, I don't know if it's varied but just not so. It doesn't look so repetitive. Okay. All right. Now, what I'm going to do too is what I like doing on a lot of my scenes is I give it a little bit of a vignette around the perimeter. And again, I don't know if this is going to look better. It looks pretty good as is, but we'll see if this kind of contains things a little bit more. Maybe it gives it a little bit more lighting. I don't know. But let's see. How about a little bit more on the interior, like so? Okay. All right. Kind of a minimal application of it. Let's take a look here. I think that looks pretty interesting. Look at that. You turn it in, at certain angles. Look at that. That's all kind of deep blue and everything. And you go like that. I just like the rainbow holographic. It has so many. Look at that. That looks totally different than that. Wow. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this card, kind of formatted here, and let's take a look and see what we have. Let's do something too. Let's add in a little bit of a highlighting here with this white pen. The white pen might look a little bit out of place in here because it's not really white light in here. I have it on the clouds, of course, but the lighting from all those stars, it's all colors. But let's see how this looks in here. Okay. Get it flowing, put a few little highlights here and there on our trees. Okay. I won't do too much because the paper itself is just so busy looking, that starry pattern. So, but this is just to give our trees a little slight, bit more of a three-dimensional feel with some light hitting it from wherever, I don't know. And let's get a few of these just little white stars in here too. Maybe we'll intersperse, disperse them with the rainbow holographic. Maybe they'll look different too. I would love my son's, I'm not volunteering in his classes anymore, but this is the type of project I really, really love to do. We would have done like smaller cards like this, but, when he was in elementary school, I don't know, a lot of the teachers would be in charge of, if I wanted to do it, like a gift for their, the Christmas gift for their, or holiday gift for the, the kids' parents. So, I would do some kind of stamping project on stamp board or something like that. We'd make magnets and pins and little things like that. But this rainbow holographic would have been a perfect thing for that. All right, let's see what those white stars are doing. Look at that. See that white stars like that? Let's see if we get that blue in there. The darker look like that. Look at that. Oh my God, look at that reddish tinge like that going across there like that. And so much glare you can't see it at all, but look at that. Oh my God, that is insane. Okay, so let me get this card formatted up and we'll show you what this looks like. All right. When I have a very loud, base, I don't know, paper or surface that I'm working on, I go very minimal on the outside so it doesn't compete with it. Like something like a silver foil or something like that. That might be kind of interesting, but we're keeping it really minimal just to keep the kind of the tension going on in here. But there it is like that. Just a little bit of a white border around it like that. And a piece of matte black cardstock on the perimeter like so. But there you have it. You know what I should do? I should stamp, let's see, let's go with an eagle up in the sky there. Actually, I usually go with two eagles up there, the two different ones. Yeah. Oh, I found it. Good thing I'm finding things relatively quickly tonight here. Well, let's see. Okay, just using the stays on again. And we'll go about like here. Stuck. Oh my gosh. I really need to make my stays on impressions like, I don't know, 10 times faster than I do. I'm just not used to stamping that fast though, but okay, that came up much faster and cleaner like that. Stays on technique. Still learning, coming around a little bit. Holding it down too long, let's see. The thing about that stays on and Sharpie pen, if you're working with a silhouette type of image, they have kind of the same type of ink, and that's solvent ink. So there you go. It's easy to repair. All right, let's take a look at this piece. It was a pretty quick card. Certainly, gosh, I find that really dynamic. I love doing this with it. But wouldn't that be a great surface to do something on with kids? It's just, I don't know. Or grown-up kids like us, right? There we have it. Okay. God, look how dimensional. Look how three-dimensional these look right here. It doesn't even look like they're on the same surface. Now I put a little bit of smudgy dark black ink. Let me see if we can see it. See it like that? You can see it a little bit more like that. I don't know if we needed it though. Yeah, that little vignette around the perimeter like that looks pretty good with the clouds, but that could be bypassed as well. But I don't know, not too bad. All right, so anyways, first kind of exploration with the STARRY. What was it called again? Koala STARRY holographic printable vinyl sticker paper. Please understand that the print results vary from many factors such as paper, ink, inkjet printer, printer settings, etc. I guess that would apply to inks that we would use too, but the brilliance inks, the stays on, work just fine on this piece. I'd get a hold of some Brilliance black and white though, I think that is pretty good ink to use on just a variety of surfaces like this. Like I said, this is like absolutely dry already, so no problems with that. Just like you apply it and it's ready to be stamped on immediately. And like I said, we might be able to stamp on it with dye-based inks too. It probably would work because I know this paper is kind of designed for it, but I don't know. We'll do some future tests as well. But I don't know. For me, this paper looks like a keeper, or this, I don't know, whatever. Vinyl looks like a keeper. And surface that normally I wouldn't have stamped on, but then we can't get this right here. I don't know. It's like a scene at the disco or something like that. Okay, so anyways, if you like this channel, if you like watching these, please hit the, the like button. Takes like 1 second to do. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, appreciate you watching that looks boring like that, the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in.